I got a feeling when you see this, you're going to be like, why didn't anyone do this sooner? Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV down here at the new Cherokee RV sneak peek display. And I just stumbled into a little camper I think a lot of people are gonna like. Nothing's ever for everybody. But this, they basically took like a 30-foot couples camping travel trailer, squished it down into something that a mid-size pickup might be able to handle or a larger class SUV. But they gave it awesome campsite viewing and dining, a sofa slide out, a good kitchen for a small camper like this, and a totally private front bedroom with a walk-around bed that you almost never find on a single axle platform. So that makes this smaller, lighter, easier to tow, more affordable. And the last year when these things went 7.5 foot wide, it's small and you can see around it more easily going down the road, but it doesn't feel super cramped on the inside. I think Rick James had a song about that. Super cramped. Maybe not. Maybe that was something else. Doesn't matter. But they've enhanced a couple things this year. Like last year, they added stuff like the holding tank heaters are still factory standard on these. But this year, they've improved the solar package from the factory. Instead of 100 watts that you can scale up, it's now 200 watts from the factory. And you can still scale it up a little bit to like 400, 450, maybe around 500. Just depends on how cute you want to get with this thing. Before you got to get totally crazy custom solar on it, you know. The roof is walkable. Not all single axle campers are. Most, but not all. So make sure you double check that if you're shopping. It's available, of course, in Black Label Edition, so if you want that smexy fiberglass look with the sleek frameless windows, that's also available. You got the little mini outdoor refrigerator with a gas grill quick connect as well. So you want to make your own camp kitchen, you totally can. I'm really curious to know what you think about this thing. I also suspect it's going to have some really good road mode access, but we're going to try to go through it, share good, bad, ugly, everything in between, and let me know what you think about it as we go. And if you appreciate the candid info, hit that subscribe button. Let's get inside there because I think I'm dodging raindrops. Pretty sure we're about to get rained out. So whenever I have a new model, I'm not exactly sure where to start. I kind of say, when in doubt, sit it out. And I'll just park myself over here on the sofa or wherever I consider to be kind of like the primary seating zone. And I sort of just look around and see what I think an owner would see on a daily basis when you're actually using the RV. Because it's kind of funny. Most of us who make these RV videos, we walk around in the RV in a way that doesn't really represent how you may actually use it and see it. So I try to go about things a little bit differently sometimes. Now, in case you're curious, it is a non-centralized heating system. That's just the furnace on the right. And your converter fuse box is just right next to the door right there. That red switch, by the way, is your battery disconnect. So you can just pop your head in and out of the RV to sort of, knock the power out. But it's not outside. It's not exposed to weather. Your entry door obviously has a full window. It lacks privacy shade, but one is very easily added. It's prepped for that. By default, this series of camper also does not include a television. Something that's interesting, though, is they really focused first on a big, giant window, and I'm not upset about that. Actually, I think it's one of the best parts of this RV. But they also wanted to make sure that if you did want to add a TV, there's a perfect place here for it. Now, what's cool, this whole bracket can come right off the wall. If you don't care about watching TV in this thing, you can just take the whole bracket out. It doesn't have to be there whatsoever. And that giant window really helps this thing look and feel a little bit larger. I also really like the power outlet locations right there. So if you're going to do so, it is definitely deep enough for some laptop warrior action, which is different from American Ninja warrior action, mind you. Now you see you've got the double stools for dining right there. If I slide those out of the way, also gives you an interesting little look at like how much storage capacity actually does exist down there. There's 7 of those big kind of stackable tote things all piled up in there. And those things fold down practically flat. If you don't need them, don't have anything to put in them, you don't have to use them. These stools are always displayed in this orientation, but here's what I found myself doing. I literally turn them 90 degrees like a saddle horse, and I straddle the things when I sit down. Maybe it's just my personal body stature. I don't know. I find it a lot easier, and it sounds funny because I'm such a city boy nerd. I actually grew up riding horses, so this feels kind of natural to me. So Something tells me that was not the most attractive angle I could have put out. I don't know. By the way, you want to know how to make this look like there's actual milk in there, even though, you know, there's not? Probably Elmer's glue. That's one of those little food hacks. Apparently, today's dining specials are absolutely nothing. Go make it yourself. Anyway, so on the back here, this is one of the other things I think is really cool about this RV. They gave it just a full rear kitchen. So again, a larger model, like an Imagine 23 LDE. In a sense, this is kind of a squished down version of it. This is also like a little brother to something, not directly in the family, but in terms of like layout, to something like a, say, a Rockwood 2515S. It's kind of just a smaller little version of that. And it could work as a couples camper, but I think that this could be an absolutely fantastic solo rig. Now, something I noticed, they're getting good about at least shipping the RV with one of these. They don't always give you a place to put it in every RV, but they're actually sending a handy little wastebasket with them, which I love that manufacturers are starting to think of this stuff. The other thing is you can also wear it as a hat. It's just that I wouldn't really recommend it. Now, this is one of the new generations of the dual swing refrigerator doors, and it's one of the few floor plans I've seen where it actually might make sense, because while you're inside the RV, you want to open the refrigerator this away, ra-chow. But if you're standing outside, it's kind of nice to just reach in, grab a drink, and hop back out. It really is very rare that I feel like that's actually a smart, useful feature. Now, it's not massive counter space, but I think they did what they could, where they could. Really smart outlet placement. And this is a mini farm sink. Like, I think that's a really smart sink size and execution for such a small camper, really. I think they did a really good job there. Looking around, I ran into the door behind me. It's not like there's a ton of storage around this thing, but given a quick peek here, they did what they could where they could. But once again, Wolf Pup has delivered us a cool camper with 0 kitchen drawers. And I hope you appreciate that I'll point out what I personally feel, just my opinion, is a shortcoming like that. Could I work around it? Probably, maybe. But I really wonder if right under that stovetop, that blank panel, if that could even be half a drawer. Now, I have actually recently gained the contact information for both the gentleman who actually is the lead product manager for this brand, as well as his, like, factory go-to guy, you know, the guy who actually gets the stuff done and implements his ideas. Well, I'm hopeful that there's a couple things on this RV that might change now that we finally got maybe the right people listening right here. Now, if you notice, there's like a little shelf. It's nicely decorated, actually. Thank you, Forest River, for behind the sofa. That's just classic, like, Forest River Cherokee stuff. There's a little bit of storage back there accessible from the outside of the RV. Notice there's also some USB plugs off on the right side of that slide. Handy dandy little phone shelf right there. And it's not possible for this camper to have like a full theater seat. It's just not, because there's a wheel well directly under the sofa. But this can fold down into a small sleeper if you are so inclined. But again, I stress small sleeper. That's not going to be like someone's like, hey, my son is 6'2". Can he sleep on that? I mean, not comfortably. But the slide actually goes above the floor. You see that kind of boxy thing sticking out from beside the sofa? That's kind of what I mean. The whole thing exists above the floor. You can't plant a theater seat or something in there. They don't offer a dinette option. This is just how it comes. Now, in case you're curious, that is a Norco Exact Slide system, which has some really cool benefits. One of which is when the slide's closed, you can actually still sit in the thing and occupy it. Now, over here in the bathroom, I told you how I got, hopefully now, the correct people to listen at the factory. If you look over here, this RV is 6.5 foot tall. And if I try to stand in the shower, I don't fit. Well, one of the ideas that I've had for a couple years is, what if we take that vent fan up there and put it above the shower to makeshift a pretend skylight? It's not the same size, but it will mostly get the job done for $0 additional. And I said that to the new product development guy. Well, not new, but the product development guy. And he went, I mean, yeah, that just makes tons of sense. And he grabbed his factory guys like, hey, would you look into this? So hopefully that happens. I know it physically can. Let's just hope they make it happen. and the traditional, it's almost signature at this point, shub, the Cherokee shower tub wombo combo there. Good space around the toilet, man. That is the definition of fairly fluffy, friendly action going on right there. Over here, it looks like there's like massive, massive kitchen space here. I think the panels below this, I think that that's like a water pump or something like that, because it's obviously not full-on storage, but you do have a little pocket there for some extra rolls of toilet paper or something. Good counter space in this thing too, and a full-on real medicine cabinet. You can see how that's built out a little bit. What really took me by surprise, though, in this RV was the fact that this is the first time I've ever seen a wolf pup with a full private bedroom. Now, I don't like doing wide angle stuff, but I want to give you a quick little wide angle look at this. Only reason I really want to do this is it's a small space, and I think that this kind of helps you understand the relationship of everything. But obviously, like, you look at the bed, it's like it's shaped like a piece of like Halloween candy corn now. That's obviously not how it really looks. And you do have a nicely sized window over here on the campsite. Now, getting out of the realm of wide angle lens mode, I want to focus on a couple other things. There are household and USB outlets on both sides of the bed. They just look a little differently on each side of the bed. Over here, that brick looking thing, your plugs are on that, but that's also a single point outlet inverter. I don't remember the wattage offhand. If I forget to write it on screen after checking my notes, do me a favor, leave me a comment and say, hey, dummy, you forgot the wattage on the inverter. And if you say it in literally those exact terms, I'm not even going to be offended. I thought this was really smart, though. Instead of these big, blocky, boxy, ugly, sometimes valency looking things, they literally just put a piece of trim over the top of the shade. And it works for me. Anyway, it's clean enough that for these dollars and cents, I feel like I could work with that. Like I could rock with that. You know, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be super duper by any stretch of the imagination. Let's take a look at the storage in here. Cracking that sucker open right there. You do have hanging storage on both sides. I love that they fully enclose the cabinet above the bed. Well, frankly, some manufacturers won't even give you a shelf above the bed for in this size and price point. So they took some extra measures here. Now, you notice that I did have to prop the bed up with the jack crank handle to access it. But notice how there's 4 more of those totes on either side. That's almost acting like a little bit of a dresser drawer kind of system. It's different, but I think it's kind of smart. And I was actually really impressed that they even remembered to include TV hookups back here in this little bathroom. So or in the bedroom. I saw the bathroom and I started thinking bathroom. Now we're going to work our way back up front here. Oh, I didn't think about it. With the slide out next to this door, I'm suddenly wondering what the road mode access is going to be like. Okay, well, this is why I take the time to close the slides instead of just guess. You see where the slide out kind of kicks down at the bottom right there? It blocks that door from opening. Like if I come back here, you can get your hand on the handle, but you don't really get anything out of it. What I'm wondering, I'm going to talk to the factory guy after this. I'm wondering if that door can just be flipped to open into the bathroom, because that would completely eliminate this, and that would allow you all but perfect road access. Because, you know, the way that this is all positioned, you see that you can basically get to all the appliances. The sink is like, you got to reach around the corner a little bit, but like you could make that work. And since your dining bar, is off the campsite of the RV, there's no problems with that whatsoever. Actually, one of the interesting things again with this RV is with the exact slide system, you can sit down in the slide while it's retracted like I'm doing right here. This is one of the only towable slide systems that allows for this function. And if you're at a travel stop, that could almost be your little breakfast bar. So at the time I'm capturing this footage, it's a brand new model. I don't even know what the weights and measures are yet. Hopefully by the time I get this video out, they've been made available and I got them on the screen over there a few seconds ago. If not, I'll try to get them updated and added to the video description if I haven't. So what I'm about to say regarding towing is a little bit of an estimation. Take it with a grain of salt and a spoonful of sugar, Mary Poppins. I think a good tow package SUV, like a larger class, will do it, like not a Ford Escape by any stretch. But I also think that some of your larger tow package mid-size pickups would make a pretty reasonable pairing on this. Now that's all regionally dependent. If you're going to go, you know, mostly flat landing, mostly short distances, mid-size pickup would be great. You want to start going through mountains, you actually may want to step up to something more half-tonny just to have the extra power at the inclines, you know. Gas Grill Quick Connect up front here, as they've done for years. They're still using those better quick drop stabilizers. Something that you can't see as easily and overtly, though, is all of your holding tanks actually have tank heating pads right on them. Now, it's not a like fully enclosed Arctic rated kind of camper or something like that. It's just something, if it's earlier spring, later fall, you get that little bit of extra protection right there. Awning's a bit small, isn't it? Bit small, isn't it? Outside TV hookups, but really, a lot of people don't use the outside TV. The outside speakers, though, they're mounted right down by head level where you're not blowing away the neighbors necessarily. We've got a little drink station over here. Since it has a little drawbridge drop-down door, it makes for a nice little drinky spot. Now, the wind is suddenly picking up, so if the microphone's getting eaten up by that, my apologies. It just kind of really started kicking up out of nowhere here. But look at the ratio of campside windows to sidewall on this little camper. Proportionately speaking, this gives you more square foot of window coverage off the campside of the RV than most, I think, other RVs out there nowadays. Now you've got the aggressive looking tires. They are an import tire. In case you're curious about the brand, these the tag on it says Mud Legend. I guess that way the tires don't spin out when you're in the mud. I don't know. But anyway, oh, hold on. Remember, I mentioned this when the video began. If you like this RV, but you're like, I don't like tin skin, it's available in Black Label Edition. Now, the model over here on the left side of the screen is not the same floor plan, but just to give you an idea of what one of these looks like, that is totally available here. I love the spare tire on the back off the bumper right here. And I want to point that out because a lot of builders, trying to be super duper price sensitive and cutthroaty, still don't give you a spare tire on something like this. And personally, I couldn't imagine towing any trailer around without a spare tire, at least one, frankly, if not two. Now, you're prepped and ready for a telescopic removable ladder to get up to that walkable roof where you see that new 200-watt solar panel. Well, where you would see, you can't obviously see it from here. Notice the antenna sticking off the back, though. It's actually a Bluetooth backup camera that's factory standard. And again, this is the Norco Exact Slide system, in case you're curious. Now, I knew I would do this. I told myself I wouldn't do this, but I did anyway. I knew I would forget to open that thing. The good news is we have the technology. This is actually a very classic Forest River doing Forest River things right here, although not all Forest Rivers do it, but they used to do it all the time on a lot of brands. Any little pocket of storage they could, they use it in some way, shape, or form. By the way, this is a single-headed sewer monster. All of your, like when I saw a rear kitchen and a mid-bath on a short RV, I was like, I wonder if this is going to be a 2 sewer hookup, because that's kind of a thing that happens on a lot of rear kitchens. It's not. They have everything plumbed together in front of that tire right there. And I'm going to have to wrap this up because of the wind being a pain in the backside. But I do want to mention the tankless on-demand water heater. One of the things I want to mention about it is that it's a 60,000 BTU. There's some 42,000s out there. This basically can get the water 50% hotter. It just, the math almost exactly works out like that. And a full hot-cold outside utility shower. It might seem a little odd. The black tank flush is actually over on the camp side of the RV, which isn't always ideal, but that's because that's the closest location to the black tank, which gives you the most direct interaction with the black tank, which actually gives you the best flushing of said black tank. So let me know what you think about this. Normally, this is the part of the video where I say something like, well, if you check the links in the description for pricing and availability, you'll see similar campers. I don't know that I've ever really seen one like this. It's a little bit of a Unicornosaurus Rex. It's its own creature, and I respect that. I really respect that Cherokee doesn't tend to just make a living running other people's campers through a Xerox machine, and they actually take the effort to make their own stuff. And I think this one's a winner, you know? When you're ready, we're ready, and we'd sure love to meet you. So until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.